That's about both parties in the relationship. You have to nurture. You have to nurture and be nurtured. It's really important. Otherwise, people are so quick to have oh, they cheated on me, they're this, they're that. Welcome to Two Gens, One Mic. We're back again with our second episode on our second season on accountability. This time we are looking at the topic of cheating. This topic's been done loads of times, I know, but we will look at it from a 3-dimension, including somebody who's younger than us and including us. And actually it's my daughter, so it's really interesting getting the dynamic. Remember to like and subscribe and give any comments you want for further content. Show me what you want to ask. Let's go.
Right. Why do you think, I was going to say why do women cheat, but I'm going to ask a generic question. Why do you think people in relationships cheat from a woman's perspective?
I think that people cheat because they check out. From a woman's perspective, she has got to a level of, I've only cheated once in my life and I'm not proud of it, but I think that I had got to a level where I could checked out. So I can only talk from my point of view. I do have other friends that have cheated and been in these situations as well. And actually, no, I've got friends that have been in relationships that they were very happy in, but they weren't being fulfilled in certain ways by their husbands, and it led to them straying to see somebody else.
Oof.
But in leading to stray to see somebody else, what that does is it brought them straight back again. There's a difference between somebody dipping their toes in and then somebody actually going and having a full-blown affair.
Okay.
That's completely different. I think that when someone goes and has a full-blown affair, from a woman's point of view, she's not happy and she's checked out. That's not going to go back. You're never going to get that relationship back again. No matter how much you try, put it together, go to counseling, do this one, do that one, that's over. A woman has to be really emotionally drained out to cheat. She's not happy, she's not fulfilled, she's out. That's why women cheat. Women don't cheat because they are emotionally fulfilled. Women don't cheat because their husband or whatever, wife or whatever it might be, is treating them so well. Women don't cheat easily. Women cheat because they check out, and they check out because they check out emotionally. That's the whole thing with women. You have so many situations where you hear of women that are sleeping around, or they go and they are promiscuous, or they have all these different relationships. And I mean, you're old enough now, like it's even in your generation, there are girls that just go and sleep with loads and loads of guys. Those girls are never ready for a relationship and they are emotionally torn. Women, when a woman is with a guy, there is a part of her that's taken every single time. I believe that. I think there's a part of your soul that is taken every time you're with somebody, because you then heal that scar tissue and the scar tissue becomes stronger, and then you become a different character for the next relationship that you were in. When it comes to women that are serial cheaters, they are totally afraid of any form of affection. They're afraid to be loved. And that comes down to the daddy issues, the mummy issues. It's not just daddy issues, it's mummy issues as well. It comes down to issues of when they were younger and not getting the love and attention that's needed. So a lot of girls think that they get the love and attention by sleeping with people. But that just isn't how it goes. That's not, you don't, that becomes empty. That whole idea becomes very empty. And I think that women cheat because they are emotionally completely destroyed, and there has to be accountability from a guy as well, or the other party with that woman, to why she has cheated in the first place. There has to be accountability. But I say that on both sides, yeah? Even for a man. If a man cheats, the woman has to have accountability for why he's cheated as well. Something's gone wrong.
I think, and you're going to disagree with me on this, based on what you've just said. I agree with what you're saying, because you're saying it from a woman's perspective.
Please
I
don't
can't argue with that.
agree.
I'm not going to agree. I think with men, it's slightly different.
Okay.
In some regards, with what you've said, you're correct. there's an overlap and it works, but there's other reasons why men cheat too. And this is just from what I've seen of my experience. From a man's perspective, there's 3 types of cheaters that you have when it comes to men, right? You've got the guy who is just a complete serial cheater, and that's whether he's got issues or he doesn't have issues or not. Some men just like doing it. I don't know why they do it. They just like doing it. Then you've got the other guy who is, they regard it in certain books as the James Bond cheater, right?
Mhm.
Which is he goes away on a work trip, he goes away on holiday somewhere, meets a woman, has a casual fling, comes back to his wife or his partner, and then carries on as if nothing's happened.
Okay.
Then you've got the third type, which is the guy that comes home and his wife's on this is from what I've seen. His wife's always on her phone.
Mhm.
He asks for sex and she's like, nope, I've got a headache. And then on the second night she complains about something else, and this goes on and on and on for a very long time. And then he gets to a point where he just completely checks out.
So that's to do with sex, really?
It's to do, not just to do with sex, but it's also to do with
being unfulfilled.
he's unfulfilled. He doesn't feel like a king in the household to start with. He doesn't feel like he's being respected. He works his ass off, right? And I'm not speaking for all guys. I'm speaking from experience from what I've seen. And guys that have cheated, and then I've asked them, why have you cheated? And this is what they've said to me. She doesn't give me any attention. She doesn't treat me the way she used to treat me before. And some chicks come along now and she's basically filling my boots with everything that my wife used to do for me. And this new chick just basically makes me feel like a king. And that's the reason why I've done it.
Okay.
And in that regard, and I might get a lot of stick for saying this, with the last guy that I've just spoken about, I completely agree and I understand
How
it.
can you agree with that? If a woman has had kids and is married and whatever, all these different things, she's not going to be the same woman that you met when you didn't have kids. You were having fun. You were having the weekends here, the holidays there, the this one, that, the shopping sprees, blah, blah, blah. That's not the same relationship. It's not the same dynamics. Of course the mistress is fun. The mistress hasn't got stretch marks. The mistress hasn't just had children. The mistress doesn't have to look after kids during the night.
Yep.
The mistress doesn't do all those things. So of course she's fun. Of course she's great. That's the only part of men cheating I just find unacceptable. Because I just think that, don't you think?
No, for sure.
Like, there's cheating, and then there's guys that cheat and they go off with the younger mistress that has no responsibility at all.
I'm not talking about that.
But you just said the last person was the one that
I'm
excited.
not talking about the young person being with the mistress. I'm talking about the young person then you spoke about women, and then when a woman gets involved with someone and it's a full-blown affair, that woman's completely checked out. You're not getting her back.
Yeah.
Guys do that too. So if a guy gets involved with a chick and he falls in love with her or whatever happens, he's completely checked out. But the reason why he gets to that point of checking out is because he has tried to speak to his wife. He has complained about her being on the phone all the time. He has tried to get her attention. He's done all those different steps that it takes, and he doesn't get that. Everything that you've said about she's not the same chick that he met at the beginning, 100 million% I agree with that. But he's also not the same guy that she met right at the beginning, based on the argument you've given me about why women cheat and get involved with full-blown affairs. It works both ways. But that's what I've seen from my experience. So I've sat with guys across the table and I've said to them, why don't you want to get back with your wife anymore? And they've told me I've met somebody else. So what does this new chick do for you that your wife doesn't do? Because you've been with your wife for a very long time. She doesn't do this, she doesn't do this, she doesn't do this, and she doesn't do this. So, okay, have you tried speaking to her about these things? For years, I've tried speaking to her about these things because she used to do those things right at the beginning, but she doesn't do those things anymore. And the excuse that she gives me is, I'm not the same woman that you met right at the beginning, but yet at the same time, she complains about how I'm not the same guy that she met at the beginning either. And that's the reason why I've reached a point of now, after complaining for that long, then meeting somebody else. Now, the question that lots of people may ask at this point, based on what I've just said, is why not then check out? 150 million%. If you're not happy in your relationship, and this goes for men and women, you need to speak to your partner about this, your wife, your husband, whoever it is, and it needs to come to an end before you meet somebody else. Correct?
That's just not how life goes.
That's not how life goes, but that would be in an ideal world. How could he cheat on me? Why didn't he just tell me that he had met somebody else? Because that's not how life goes. You meet somebody, whether you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship, and you just click, and that's how it happens.
Mm.
So the point I'm making is that's why men cheat. You've said why women cheat. Tell me what you think.
What do you think?
I think that guy is completely in the wrong in the sense
Course.
that not being like I'm a man hater. I think from the sense that, oh, my wife doesn't do X, Y, and Z for me anymore, probably because she has 3 kids, is tired, and you're not helping her do any of it. Women are emotional beings. That guy is probably cheated because he's not being fulfilled physically. When a woman cheats, she's not being fulfilled emotionally because a guy is not an emotional being. That's just how it is. But a woman may not want to be physical because she is so tired from doing all of her female chores around the house the whole day.
But a guy might not want to be emotional because he's been at work all day. The argument
Yeah, but this is very
It's not a
men
competition, no.
are at work and women are at home.
I'm not siding with either one. I'm saying that, if you look at both perspectives, they both have reasons for why they do things.
The fact
That's
is,
what I'm
men
saying.
have cheated from the beginning of time. Men have been promiscuous from the beginning of time.
And this is not men versus women.
Men have had concubines. They've like, come on, you don't hear of the woman having concubines. You hear of the men having concubines. You hear of the Spartans having this woman. You go in and it's just a big orgy and their wife's at home with the kids. Like, this is from the beginning of time. Men have got this connection with their penis that women don't have. Men think with their penis.
Procreational
They don't
instinct.
think with their head. Fact.
Okay.
The most dedicated man, under the right circumstances, can be forced to cheat. And I'm not just saying having sex. I'm not saying that. That's like the end level here.
Mm-hmm.
But also a lot of people have a very different view on what cheating is.
Right, which was my next question. So what would you guys classify from a female perspective as cheating?
Well, considering I'm coming from a law mind, anything where you have the intention to do something, you've cheated. Because that only leads on to something else.
What does that mean?
So the minute somebody has stepped into a scenario and you've taken a number, you've exchanged social media, and it's going to a level of you're commenting on pictures or you've cheated.
Also, I think it was anything that you wouldn't tell your partner from both sides.
Yeah.
From both sides. If it's anything that you wouldn't go home and tell your partner that is included in your conversation about how was your day today,
Yeah.
you've cheated.
Then everybody cheats.
That's not true. That's not true.
Are you telling me
I don't
that-
go out and take people's numbers in the day
No,
and
I'm not-
exchange social media
You're not
people.
talking about that. I'm talking about if you've got two people that go off to work and they come home and they have a conversation about what happened during the day, they're not going to share every single nitty gritty detail.
No, you're being
No,
like, come on.
No, but I
I'm
mean,
talking,
like,
she's talking about.
if you have something laying on your conscience,
Yeah.
they're like, hey, I'm not going to tell him about this. This might cause an argument.
Right.
You've done something that may even be micro cheating. It's not necessarily cheating, but it's micro cheating.
Yeah.
Because you don't feel safe enough or comfortable enough to tell your partner because you're in the wrong.
But that leads to cheating.
Yeah,
That
for sure,
leads
because
to
you have
final
it in your
act.
head.
Because now it's like the temptation is there.
Yeah,
And
the
you want to know.
The temptation, I think, is even more dangerous than the act itself. because
100%.
You're constantly thinking about it.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. And the problem with the temptation level is when you're in that temptation zone, that's when you can also get caught. And you haven't even done anything in that zone yet, but you can get caught there because you leave crumbs around. And the crumbs are seen, and you see what's going on. But I also think that when it comes to cheating, and I'm probably going to get people comment on this now, I think that it is a responsibility of a woman, it's the responsibility of a man to keep in check with your relationship. You cannot, my grandmother said to me, the hardest job you are ever going to have is a full-time relationship.
Yep.
She said that to me.
Job.
I remember it like it was yesterday, and I was only about 14 years old. And she said to me, the hardest job you're ever going to have is holding down your relationship, because you don't get to go home. You don't get to have a Saturday and Sunday off. You have to work at it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Because if you don't, they stray. That's not just about women, though, or men. That's about both parties in the relationship. You have to nurture. You have to nurture and be nurtured. It's really important. Otherwise, people are so quick to have oh, they cheated on me, they're this, they're that, name shame and tell everybody how bad they are. Suddenly on social media, the people are hated, this one, that one. Okay, but what was your role in that situation? Like,
No, I
where
agree.
did you
Yeah.
go wrong here?
I agree with
What did you do that not that you did anything particular, but where did you go wrong that fragment and that fracture happened in the relationship? I will tell you something now. I have lost friends after telling them that. I've lost friends when I have said to my friends, "What did you do? What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong that you didn't see the crack coming in the relationship?"
because people don't want to take
They
accountability
don't.
for it.
There you go. Accountability.
Other than someone being a complete serial cheater and them just doing it because they want to do it because they've got their own issues, people, majority of the time, do not want to take accountability for why it is that their partner cheated on them or why they did it themselves. That's
Listen,
the truth.
people don't want to take accountability for themselves, period. It's a really, you got to put on your big girl knickers or your big
Mhm.
boy pants, your big person shoes when you say, I take accountability for how I've behaved in any situation that you're in, whether it's cheating, any relationship, anything that you go. You've got to really pull up your big girl pants to say, I take accountability. And you know something? Somebody can be so in the wrong. If they turn around and say to me, I take accountability for that, I think, do you know something? You're a bigger person than I am. I respect you so much. And even if you're totally in the wrong, let's shake a hand on that. Well done. Let's respect.
Mhm.
Because I just think that anyone taking accountability for things is in my highest regard. And I have had friends, I've had relationships where they've cheated. This one's cheated. And you know something? They're now friends. Why? Because both parties took accountability for why that went wrong to begin with.
Yep.
And that has to be the case.
Yep.
That must be the case because I'm going to finish it up here. We only live on this earth if we are lucky for what, 80 years? And that's a good life. That's a good stretch of life. We've done really well if we get to 80 years. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. So if we have 80 years, why the hell do we spend so long at loggerheads with people? Why? We all think that we have got this, we're going to live forever and we shouldn't, and we should be at loggerheads with people all the time. But actually, sometimes you have a relationship that wasn't meant to happen. It wasn't meant to be. And the way that that checked out, or someone cheated, you got to take accountability for your actions in that moment, in that time, in that space. Say, I didn't mean to hurt you. Move on and move on with the rest of your life because those 80 years go by way too quickly. We're already halfway through our life. It goes by too quickly. You're already a quarter of the way there. It happens too fast. And we have to own our own lives. And when we hurt people along the way, take accountability for it. That's what I think.
Yep, I agree. If you don't take accountability,
You
don't grow.
No,
Yeah,
you don't.
definitely.
And growth is the most important thing. Thank you for listening. That was our very quick, sharp podcast on accountability within a relationship and cheating. Any questions you have, again, leave them in the comments. And if you'd like to hear more about, leave them in the comments. And we look forward to seeing you next time.